Hey everybody, Ham here. Alright, so I thought that I would do a kind of funny story time with you guys about my worst experience doing catering. So, my whole career, as from 15 till even now, I've always here and there, if not consistently, worked in catering halls or off-premise parties, ran weddings, ran parties, not plan them, but like start to finish kind of running the show or waitressing or bartending for large events like weddings, birthday parties, what have you. So everybody knows about like working catering halls and that kind of stuff. Okay. So yes, I am, this is the same day as my dentist video, so I am looking the same, but I ran out to grab my prescription so my hair looks different. Okay, so anyway, so usually I would not have like very many bad experiences. I can name a couple for this one company that I worked for when I was young. It's one of the companies I worked for the longest. They are no longer in existence, so I could technically name them. It was a deli, and the owners were trash. But anyway, yeah, not good people necessarily, but me and my friends worked there together when we were younger, so it was fun because we all worked together as friends. So like we just would, score a manager or whatever. We just did what we knew how to, what we knew, bleh, we did what we had to do, and we kind of ran the show, and they never showed up anyway. So anyway, okay, so I didn't really have many bad experiences. I was actually very lucky as a catering waitress and bartender. I've had some incidences, but nothing too crazy. I've had a couple weird occurrences, but this one kind of stands out in my head as probably the worst. So I was working for this deli, and we would stop there were different shifts. So if you were in the beginning shift, you would go to the deli first, get everything packed into the van, linens, balloons, food, everything, and then the van would be driven to one of the two locations that they had, if it was at one of the halls. So we had two main halls, and they were both very close to where the deli was, within a couple miles. So I was called that day to be the maitre d', and I was working with two really young girls. So I was probably in my late teens, early 20s at the time, probably late teens, and then I was working with two like 14-year-old girls. So, I'm at the hall, and I mean, not the hall, I'm sorry. I'm at the deli, and I'm getting everything together. So we're packing up the food and everything. So it was also our job to blow up the balloons. Like if they were, we had like helium tanks, so there were regular latex balloons or rubber, whatever the heck they are, and then those Mylar balloons. So this particular party was a baby shower, I think, or a bridal shower, one of the two, some kind of shower. I want to say baby shower. So it was a surprise, and the mother of either the bride or the mom to be was the host. Like she was the one who planned the party. So like if someone had a special request, like if they had decorations or something, they'd bring it to the hall early or bring it to the deli early. Like if they had special balloons, and we'd blow them up for them and bring them to the hall. So I started blowing up all the Mylar balloons. Blowing them up, there was probably like one for each table at least. So I want to say like maybe 8 balloons. If there were 2 for each table, maybe there were 16, who knows. But there were a lot of these Mylar balloons. Blowing up, I think one of the other girls was helping me tie them off, and then we were putting them aside and getting them ready to put in the van. Little did I know, after we blew each one up, they were slowly floating out the back door and up into the sky. So, mistake number one, we didn't realize that they were blowing out the door as we were blowing them up. So with all the chaos, we probably just didn't realize and thought they were getting loaded into the truck. So all the balloons we blew up were now in the sky with Jesus. So that was mistake number one. So we get to the hall, and for some reason I think we get there late because we're rushing. And usually it was like a 2-hour setup. So we're trying to set everything up, and as we're setting everything up, we realize, crap, we forgot the linens. how do we forget the linens? They just didn't get packed in. You delegate jobs to people and like things just don't get done. So now we're calling the deli to now, so bring the linens, right? The linens have to go down before anything else gets done. You can't set the tables, decorate the tables without the tablecloths on the tables. So we're just trying to get done what we can get done. I'm trying to remember everything that went wrong. Okay, so now it's getting late. And I forget what we were doing, but the linens still aren't on the table and the mother shows up and she's just like, oh, hey. So we're kind of rushing around and I'm calling my boss frantically, like, where are these linens? And then the woman's like, okay, well, it's okay. Like, let's just help set up. Like, where are the balloons? Where are the balloons? Good question. I'm looking around. I'm like, we just blew up all those balloons. Where are those balloons? There was literally one lone Mylar balloon that was like half blown up, like weakly blown up, like floating around. And I was like, what happened to these balloons? So I call the deli and I'm like, where are the balloons? They're not at the deli. So it's like they must have blown out the door as we were blowing them up. Oh my God. So now there's no balloons and no linens on the table. So this mom's like, okay. And the one lone like weak balloon, we're like, all right, let's at least put that one at the bride's table or whoever, at the mother to be. I forget if it was a bridal or baby shower or whatever. So that's going on. So finally, one of the managers shows up. Now, this wasn't even one of the people who owned the deli. This was one of the girlfriends of the owner. Now, this guy was married like 3 different times. Like, this was his new girlfriend who had like fake boobs. Like, she was just like, now she's playing manager, you know? So she comes in like a bat out of hell and is trying to like cause a scene in front of everyone. And I'm sitting there like, what are you doing? Like, this woman's watching you. So the mom's watching and I'm trying to like, I never would get heated in front of guests. Like, I was always very professional, like still to this day, like everything when I'm at work, it's like, I don't get flustered. It's just like, cause I get to leave at the end of the day. I don't give a crap. So she's like freaking out, like, am I right? And I'm just like, So the woman whose party it was can see like it wasn't like really my fault. Or at least like things should have gotten settled like before they got there. We had 2 hours. Like, why did you not bring the linens up? So linens are still not there and like guests are starting to arrive. So we're literally setting the tables and everything as guests are arriving. So there's no balloons and I feel like there was, so there's no napkins. Like there's no napkins, no balloon, nothing. So we're just standing in like an empty hall with like all these people arriving. So the mom's being really nice and she's trying to help out. Okay. I feel like we forgot some of the food, or the food was wrong too. So that was strike 3. On top of it, while all this chaos is happening, as all the guests are arriving, the fire alarm goes off, blaring loud, as we're trying to address all this. So we're like, holy fucking shit. Oh, excuse my language. Like, thank God the guest of honor was not there yet. So now I'm dealing with this screaming manager who like thinks she's a manager. I got 2 14-year-olds, like 14-year-old girls like getting upset because they're being yelled at and like all this stuff. Then the fire alarm goes off. So now I have 2 14-year-old girls hysterical crying in the kitchen. So like, oh God. So we can't get the fire alarm to go off. Okay. Then by the bar, normally we would have a bartender, but they didn't have any alcohol, so it was just like soda set up. I think we just did pitchers because they didn't even want a bartender, because normally we'd have someone to at least serve the sodas. So instead we just set up pitchers of soda and we would just keep replenishing it. There was probably like a brunch, like juice and stuff. There was a dead mouse behind the beer cooler for the keg. So on top of it, the whole place reeked like a rotten carcass. Because no one chose until like weeks later when one of the bartenders actually pulled the keg out and could tell, like, I know that smell, he said, and cleaned up the dead mouse. So fire alarms going off, no linens, no balloons, food's wrong, dead mouse, screaming manager to make things worse, make us look worse. just because she's like, thinks she's Miss Press, right? At the end of it all, it still worked out. Thank God the lady was really nice. Still tipped us because she felt bad. Like, she could tell, like, you have, like, why, first of all, why is this woman, I forget her name, but I remember we just used to call her Chelsea because we would forget her name too. And they're like, she just like came on to like the scene out of nowhere, and like all of a sudden she's like running the show and like didn't know what she was doing. And like literally like just one of those people who is like a bimbo, I guess the word is. Like, no offense to her, and like my freaking manager who had like a new girlfriend every week who was still married and whatever. So she could tell that it was like we were doing the best we could as a staff, and like it was the deli's fault. So thank God. So anyway, yeah, that's that story. And all I have to say is advice when you're in those kind of situations is just keep calm. Who gives a crap? Like, I've been in the restaurant industry in that kind of, you know, environment for a long time. I've been a bartender. I was a bartender for like 13 years. I still am a bartender. I just like haven't been working at bars lately or I work at restaurants usually. Just because like the hours aren't like matching. I can't find like a good location, and hours or whatever, being a single mom. So I've been in situations where like computers go down, credit card machines go down. It's a busy Saturday night. People aren't getting their orders. Like, you now have to help the waitresses. Now you have to help the kitchen staff. Like, I feel like I thrive in those kind of environments. Fast paced, thinking on your toes. I feel like my mind's working quickly. I'm not like sitting, slouching. Like, I hate sitting still at work. It's like I might as well just be home. Give me something to do. So my advice to you, if you're in a really like what else could go wrong situation, is just keep going. Keep working hard, and like you will be recognized hopefully by the right people, and hopefully your manager or owner of the place, location, recognizes your hard work and sees that you're reliable, and then, you know, things will come, benefits will come in the future. Hopefully, but never does. Restaurant business is one of the hardest businesses to work on. People think retail's hard. Retail, you can like walk away. Like, nothing's dire. Like, yeah, there's like lines and stuff, but like you're not running. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I stayed in shape when I used to be like a bartender. Like, you are literally on your feet running. First 12 hours straight. Running. Like, running, dancing, doing the cha-cha, everything you could think of. So, tip your waitress, tip your bartender. Like, even if it's a slow night, you don't know what we go through because your hungry ass is hangry and acting crazy. Okay, it's your birthday, you didn't get your birthday shot, you know, I don't know what to tell you. It's not our fault. We work hard, and we get sexually harassed by every manager, by other bartenders, by patrons, customers. It's like, probably aside from being like a stripper, like being a waitress or a bartender, like you get so much harassment just from managers. Like, every single place I've worked almost, so I won't like name names, like you get harassed, and sexually usually, and it's just supposed to be like, oh, it's the environment, it's like a loose, fun environment. Yeah, no, I'm not like a, you know, a fetish model, sorry. I don't know. But anyway, that was my story. The dead mouse, oh my God, can you imagine? So anyway, like I said, we still got tipped and everything was good. But in those situations, stay calm. Like, laugh, because who gives a, it's not your party, and it's going to be over soon, and you get to go home at the end of the day, and you're still getting paid. So it's, you know, it is what it is. So bye. Hope you enjoyed that funny story. I probably talked really fast, but I'll have more for you next time. Bye, guys.